Welcome back to the deep dive. We are jumping straight into the deep end today. Or maybe I should say we're jumping straight into a trap.
Hey, I like that.
We are talking about the art of deception in cybersecurity. Specifically, we're breaking down Module 11.3, honeypots.
This is, one of the most fascinating areas of security because it's not just about walls and locks.
Right.
It's about psychology. It's about building a digital stage set, a complete fabrication, and just waiting for an actor to walk onto it so you can study them.
Exactly. And we have a very specific mission today. We are looking at a stack of sources, including a slide deck called Honeypot Deception Sand Evasion.pdf. And we're going to dissect these decoys so thoroughly that you, the listener, could pass the 11.3 technical quiz on your first try.
That's the plan. We're going to give you the answers before you even see the questions.
We're going to cover both sides of this coin.
Yeah, that's right. First, the architect, how you build these things. And second, the infiltrator, how a smart attacker spots the fake and, gets around it.
So if you're ready, we're starting right at the top. Let's go straight to slide 2, titled The Illusion. We need to define what a honeypot actually is.
Right.
Because the name sounds friendly, but it's really not.
Not at all. So looking at slide 2, the core definition is a honeypot is a resource designed specifically to masquerade as a legitimate network entity. It could pretend to be a server, a host, a single file, anything really.
So the decoy.
It's a decoy, but its purpose is very specific. It exists to attract, occupy, and analyze attackers. It's bait. But here's the kicker, the part that separates it from other security tools.
What's that?
It has absolutely no production value.
Meaning no real employees are using it?
Exactly. No legitimate traffic should ever touch it. HR isn't saving payroll files there. Finance isn't locking in. So by definition, any interaction with a honeypot is suspicious.
So if someone knocks on that door,
they're up to no good.
which I guess makes the monitoring part easier. The slide mentions the recorder. This sounds like the scary part if you're a hacker.
It makes it incredibly powerful. If you look at a standard firewall log, you have millions of legitimate events just cluttering the view.
Right, just noise.
All noise. In a honeypot, there is no noise. Since legitimate users shouldn't be there, everything that happens is a signal. It captures raw, packet-level data. It captures keystrokes. It even captures the mistakes the attacker makes. It's a surveillance chamber.
Okay, let's pause here because I see a massive red flag on this slide. And based on the quiz material we've reviewed, this is a guaranteed question. There's a warning box.
Yes, this is the critical distinction, and you absolutely must remember this.
Okay.
A honeypot is not a substitute for an IDS, an intrusion detection system, or a firewall.
I want to make sure we really nail this down. So if I buy a fancy honeypot, I can't just, turn off my firewall?
Absolutely not. Think of it this way. A firewall is a shield. It blocks things. An IDS is an alarm. It alerts you. A honeypot does neither of those things for your real network.
So it doesn't protect the system?
Not at all. It creates a diversion and observes the attack.
So if you're asked on an exam if a honeypot protects your network?
The answer is a hard no.
No.
It's an observer, not a shield. A security camera, not a deadbolt.
Got it. Okay, let's get a little more complex. Moving to slide 3, we're talking about depth of the trap or interaction levels. Low, medium, and high.
Right. Let's start in the shallow end. Low interaction. Think of this as like a cardboard cutout of a security guard in a store window.
Okay, yeah. Effective from a distance, maybe scares off a casual thief, but don't get too close.
Exactly. A low-interaction honeypot simulates a limited number of services. It relies on emulation. It'll say, hey, I'm a web server, but there's no actual Apache software running. It's just a script pretending.
But what's it actually good for then?
It's great for detecting automated probes, network scans, worm activity, things that are just blindly knocking on doors. But here's the exam focus point you need to lock in.
Okay.
Because it only emulates services and there's no real operating system underneath to hack. A low-interaction honeypot cannot be completely compromised.
Because there's no there. You can't hack the root of a cardboard cutout.
Precisely. You can't get root access to a script that just says hello. An attacker can't use it to launch other attacks because there's no engine under the hood.
Okay, makes sense. Let's skip over medium for a second, which is just a better facade, and jump straight into the deep end. High interaction.
This is the real deal. This isn't a cardboard cutout. This is an undercover cop.
Oh.
High interaction honeypot simulates all L services and applications, and usually it's running on a real, actual operating system.
So this is risky.
Extremely. The slide explicitly mentions the risk-reward here. Because it's a real OS, you let the attacker have full access. You want them to get in. You want them to feel comfortable, so they unpack their toolkit.
You get to see what they're really made of.
You see their zero-day exploits. You understand their intent. But the flip side...
Ja, dat vind ik fijn.
The flip side, and this is the critical quiz takeaway, is that high-interaction honeypots can be completely compromised.
So if you lose control of it.
If you lose control, the attacker now has a real machine inside your network. They could use it to attack your real servers. That's the trade-off. You accept high risk for high-value intelligence.
High-stakes poker. I like it. Okay, let's talk about the gear. Let's move to slide 4. The arsenal. These are the tools.
Right. There are a few mentioned here. KF Sensor, which is a Windows host-based IDS that basically acts as a vulnerable server, and Honey Drive, which is a Linux-based suite for forensics.
There's one tool here that seems to have, I don't know, a neon sign pointing at it for the exam. HoneyBot.
Yes, HoneyBot. You need to associate this name with a few very specific things. It's a medium interaction solution. Think of it as a decoy robot, maybe a factory machine.
Okay.
But the thing that gives it away on a quiz is what it simulates.
Well, what are we looking for?
First, standard protocols, Echo, FTP, Telnet, SMTP, HTTP, all the usual suspects. But more importantly, it explicitly simulates mischievous protocols and malware vectors.
Specific malware names.
Yes. This is one for the notepad. If you see a question referencing a tool that simulates Devil, MyDoom, Blaster, and NetBus, the answer is HoneyBot.
Devil, MyDoom, Blaster, NetBus. That sounds like a heavy metal lineup from 2003.
It really does. They're older threats, but HoneyBot mimics them to attract specific types of attacks that are still looking for those old vulnerabilities. Memorize that list.
Okay, we've built the trap. We've got our cardboard cutouts and our undercover cops. Now let's flip the script. Let's move to slide 5. Cracking the glass.
Right.
We are now the attacker.
Right. Part 2, the infiltrator. The premise is simple. If a honeypot can be detected, it can be evaded. Attackers are constantly probing to see if the server they're on is real or a simulation.
And if they know it's a trap, they'll either leave or, worse, feed you bad data.
Exactly. And there is a specific method mentioned here involving the three-way handshake.
Walk us through this. This feels important.
This is a huge giveaway. In a normal TCP connection, you send a SYN packet to say hello. The server sends a SYN ACK back. You send an ACK to say, great, connection established.
Standard handshake. Hello. Hi. Good to see you.
Precisely. But some honeypots are sloppy. They'll show a port as open during a scam. They're advertising a service is running. But when the attacker actually tries to complete that handshake, the honeypot realizes it's just a script and it can't handle a real connection.
So what happens?
So it denies the three-way handshake.
Ah, so the sign on the door says, come in, we're open, but the door is locked tight.
Perfect analogy. It's a logic error. If you see port open plus deny handshake, that is a massive indicator of a honeypot. It's a glitch in the matrix.
Are there other glitches on slide 5?
Yeah, one secondary one for Windows servers. If a server claims to be Windows, but there are 0 NetBIOS name server requests coming from it, it's probably a trap.
Why is that?
Because a real Windows server is noisy. It's always shouting its name on the network, looking for printers, for shares. Silence is suspicious. If it looks like Windows but acts like a monk, it's a honeypot.
Silence is a giveaway. Okay, let's get even more technical. Slide 6, the VMware tell.
So virtualization is great for honeypots because it's cheap and easy to reset, but virtual machines leave fingerprints. Attackers look for hardware that shouldn't be there or is missing like specific video cards unique to virtual environments.
But the quiz material is focused on something much more subtle. Timing. The illegal instruction test.
Yes. This is really clever.
How does it work?
The attacker intentionally sends a command the CPU can't understand, an illegal instruction. They aren't trying to crash it. They are measuring exactly how long it takes for the system to return an error.
And there's a measurable difference.
A huge difference. On a real physical machine bare metal, the error handling is native. It takes roughly 776 milliseconds.
Okay, 776 millers. That's our baseline for reality.
But in a VMware environment, the software layer has to catch the error and pass it through to the physical hardware and back. That adds latency, a lot of it. The time jumps up to roughly 2,530 milliseconds.
Whoa. So 700 versus 2,500, that's nearly 4 times slower.
Correct. So if that error handling is slow around that 2,530 meters mark, the attacker knows they're in a simulation. They are in a honeypot.
That is so precise. 2,530 meters. Listeners, if you have a notepad, write that number down. It's the difference between hitting a concrete wall and hitting a wall covered in foam. The bounce back takes longer.
I love that analogy. It's exactly right. The physics of the digital world feels soft in a virtual machine.
Okay, speaking of fake environments, let's go to slide 7. System-level artifacts, specifically for UML.
UML User Mode Linux. It's another way to run a virtual machine, and just like VMware, it has a tell.
And it's the hard drive, isn't it?
Right. UML doesn't use a real physical hard disk. It uses a fake IDE device to simulate storage. The system calls it devubbed.
So if I'm an attacker and I get into the system, how do I find that?
You check the plumbing, you would inspect the etc fstab file, which lists the file systems, or you just execute the mount command to see what drives are attached.
And if I see devub to 0 or something similar,
You're in a trap. A real Linux box would list legitimate hardware like DESDA. Seeing UBDID is the signature of a user mode Linux honeypot. It's like popping the hood of a Ferrari and seeing a hamster wheel.
got it. Check the mount points. Okay, slide 8. The watcher watched. We're talking about a tool called CBEC.
CBEC is fascinating. It's a tool defenders install on high-interaction honeypots to capture rootkits. Even if the attacker uses SSH to encrypt what they're typing, CBEC hijacks the system calls to see the data before it gets encrypted.
It's like reading the letter before it goes into the envelope.
Yeah.
But the slide says there's a detection flaw.
There is. CBEC lives in the kernel, and that adds overhead. Just like with VMware, CBEC slows down specific operations, specifically the read system call.
The read command.
Yes. On a clean system, a read call executes in about 0.776282 milliseconds.
That is suspiciously specific.
These forensic timings are an exact science. If CBEC is running, that time increases significantly because CBEC has to copy the data first. So high latency on the read, call equals CBEC's presence.
The watcher is detected because he's too heavy, breathing too loud in the microphone.
You got it.
Okay, moving on to slide 9. The sticky trap. Tar pits.
I love tar pits. A tar pit isn't just about observing, it's about being annoying. It's designed to slow down incoming connections, to slow down the spread of worms. It just wastes the attacker's resources.
It's defensive stickiness. Now, for the exam, we need to know exactly where these tar pits live in the OSI model. The slide lists 3 specific layers.
Listen closely, this is pure memorization. Tar pits operate at Layer 2, data link, Layer 4, transport, and Layer 7 application.
2, 4, and 7.
That's the magic combo. If you see Layer 1, 3, or 5 on a quiz, those are wrong. It's only 2, 4, and 7.
Can we break down what they do at those layers just quickly so it sticks?
Sure. At Layer 2 data link, the tar pit responds to fake IPs with the same MC address. It looks like an infinite number of hosts are there.
And layer 4?
Layer 4 is transport. It uses the TCP IP stack to keep connections hanging. It just keeps saying, 1 second, hold on, forever.
And layer 7?
Layer 7, application. It responds really slowly to web or email requests. It sends data at a crawl to tie up the attacker's application.
Okay. 2, 4, 7. Stuck in the tar. Let's go to slide 10. Active deception. This is where the honeypot stops being passive and starts fighting back.
Right, 3 main concepts here. First, snort inline.
We all know snort is an IDS. What makes the inline version different?
Regular snort is passive. It just watches traffic go by. Snort inline sits in the middle of the road. It is capable of packet manipulation. It can actually modify the data passing through it.
And that's the tell.
Yes. Attackers can spot it by looking for altered rule logic or packets that don't quite match what they sent. If the packet changes in transit, you're dealing with snort inline. Packet manipulation is the keyword.
Next up, fake AP.
Fake access points. These just generate thousands of fake Wi-Fi beacons to hide the real ones. The tell here is just chaos. They generate random ESID and BSSID assignments.
So the ESID is the network name, like coffee shop Wi-Fi.
Right, and BSSID is the MLE address of the router. If you scan for Wi-Fi and see 1,000 networks with gibberish names and shifting MO addresses, you're looking at a fake AP tool. It's just electronic chaff.
And finally, bait and switch.
This is a rerouting tactic. It detours malicious traffic from a real network into a honeypot. The attacker thinks they're hitting the finance server, but the network has quietly switched the tracks, and now they are in a decoy.
Sneaky. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. Let's turn to slide 11. Field notes.
This is our review blitz.
Exactly. I'm going to throw the concept at you, and I want the must-know exam association. We're reinforcing this right now.
Ready?
Ready. The tool is HoneyBot.
It simulates malware like MyDoom, Devil, and NetBus.
You're checking for VMware detection using timing.
You use the illegal instruction test. 776 matters for real, 2530 matters for VMware.
You suspect snort inline is running. What does it do?
It performs packet manipulation.
You are looking for a user mode Linux honeypot. Where'd you look?
Check its Sasra stab or the mount command for defubbed.
You scan a port. It says open, but then
It denies the three-way handshake. That's a honeypot.
high interaction versus low interaction. Biggest risk of high interaction.
High interaction honeypots can be completely compromised.
And finally, the layers where tar pits live.
Layers 2, 4, and 7.
Boom. If you can recall those, you are in excellent shape for that quiz.
It really is a game of cat and mouse, you know?
Yeah.
As the traps get better, like active deception, the detection methods get more and more granular. We've gone from just scanning ports to measuring the millisecond latency of a CPU.
It's just wild to think that being a fraction of a second too slow is what gives away the entire simulation.
And that connects to the bigger picture in security. Anomalies are everything. If it's too quiet, it's a trap. If it's too slow, it's a trap. If it's too open, it's a trap.
Which brings up a question I've been mulling over. If we can detect honeypots because they are slightly slower than reality due to that virtualization overhead, do you think the next generation of honeypots will have to be designed to be faster than reality just to hide?
That is a provocative thought. Or maybe defenders will start introducing artificial latency into their real servers.
What, slow down the real world?
Yeah, so you can never tell the difference between the lie and the truth.
Now, that is a paranoid thought to end on. If everything is slow, nothing is fake. We'll leave you with that to chew on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. You are now equipped to spot the traps. Good luck on the quiz.
Stay sharp.